Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we are going to talk about reflex action. What is reflex action? Reflex action is a quick and sudden response to a danger condition, to a danger stimulus. What is a reflex action? This is the quick response. This is a quick response to a danger condition, to a danger stimulus. As we know that our central nervous system consists of two parts, the brain and the spinal cord. The brain is mainly involved in the thinking, judgment, analysis, memory, but the spinal cord is only and only responsible for the reflex action. What is the reflex action? Uh, for example, pulling up hand, pulling up other body part when it touch with the hard object, when it touch with a sharp object, when it touch with the very cold object. This is the reflex action. Okay, blinking of the eye by falling a huge amount of light. This is the reflex action. The reflex action, the somatic reflex action is controlled by the spinal cord only, but the autonomic reflex action is controlled by the medulla oblongata and the bone, like swallowing, vomiting, sneezing, heartbeat, blood pressure. These are the autonomic reflex action which is controlled by the medulla oblongata and the bone. But pulling up hand, blinking up the eye, etc., these are the somatic reflex action which is controlled by only the spinal cord. What is the function of the reflex action? The function of the reflex action is to give a quick response to a danger stimulus. Suppose I touch my hand with a hard object with misminded condition, then I pull my hand very quickly. This is due to the reflex action. The spinal cord have no responsibility for thinking, but without thinking, I remove my hand from that object, from that hard object, in order uh, to make the danger less. Without thinking, with the help of spinal cord, I remove my hand from that object in order to reduce the danger condition. Okay, this is the if the brain control the reflexes, the somatic reflexes, then there the time for danger things, the time for burning of my hand will increase, because the brain response is slowly, is a little bit long, because the brain when receive message it analyzes, and then it will take a more time. So the main function of the reflex action is to make the danger time less. It make the time for the danger things is less. So I quickly remove my hand from the hard object. This is the main function of the reflex action. The message first go to the spinal cord, and here the message is analyzed in the spinal cord without thinking, and therefore remove my hand very quickly. Then after the some second, the message after the removal of my hand, the message go to the to the brain. Here the message is analyzed for the further response. Okay, but with the help of reflex action, the time for danger things, the time for the danger stimulus become very less. What is the most simplest example for the reflex action is the knee jerk. Suppose this is the quadricep muscle. This is the quadricep muscle. This is the quadricep tendon, and this one is the hamstring muscle. When I kick this quadricep tendon with a hammer, then without control, the knee jerk in forward direction. This is due to the reflex action. When I touch this quadricep tendon with a hammer or with any other object, then the knee jerk will occur in the forward direction. This is due to the reflex action. Okay. As we know that reflex action consists of some component. The receptor, there is the receptor which is excited by this stimulus. The receptor, the apparent neuron, the sensory neuron. Here is the center, and the efferent neuron, and the muscle is the effector. What is the component of the? What are the component? Number one, receptor. Number one, receptor. Number two, apparent neuron. Apparent neuron. Number three, the center, the spinal cord or the bone or medulla oblongata. There is the spinal cord. Center. For efferent neuron. 5, the muscle. The muscle is the effector. So this whole pathway is called a reflex arc. What is the reflex arc? The pathway through which reflex action takes place is called reflex arc. Okay. When I kick this tendon for some person with misminded, then he quickly kick his knee jerk. This is the knee jerk. Then he quickly jerk his knee in forward direction. It is because of the reflex action. It is because of the quick response. Or this is the sharp needle. When I touch this part quickly, then he move his knee in forward direction. This is due to the reflex action. When I touch this tendon, then the message go to the spinal cord here. This is the sensory neuron. This is the cell body of the sensory neuron. This is the dendrite of the sensory neuron. This one is the axon of the sensory neuron. Here the axon of the sensory neuron has two branches. One branch synapse and one motor neuron. One motor neuron. This is motor neuron number 1. This one motor neuron number 2. Here the spinal cord. Here the sensory neuron, synapse and motor neuron, and the interneuron. This one is the interneuron, the associative neuron, but this one is the another motor neuron. There, this branch release glutamic acid. Glutamic acid is the excitatory neurotransmitter. When the glutamic acid is released, glutamate. When glutamate is released, this is a excitatory neurotransmitter. Then it excite the motor neuron, and when this motor neuron excite, then quadricep muscle is contract. When this muscle contract, it pull the knee in forward direction. So the knee jerk will occur. And another condition, at the same time, this branch release another neurotransmitter which is called glycine. Glycine is inhibitory neurotransmitter. It do not excite this neuron, this interneuron. Instead of excitation, glycine inhibit this neuron. So when this neuron is inhibited, then this neuron is also inhibited. This neuron do not excite. When this neuron do not excite, this motor neuron do not excite, so the muscle remain in its relaxed state. This muscle do not contract. So when this muscle contract with the help of excited motor neuron, and when this muscle remain inhibited, so when this muscle contract, this remain in relaxed state, the knee jerk will occur, and the knee move in the forward direction. This is the most simplest example of the reflex action. Okay, this is the knee jerk. This is the most simplest example. So this is the reflex action. When this reflex action occur, the knee jerk will occur in forward direction. Later, the message to the brain, up to the brain, is go with the help of the interneuron, and then the brain analyzes that what occur, what condition occur. The brain for the 2 to 3 second after, the brain analyze that what occur. So the brain can receive the information and a little time later. Okay, this is the reflex action. Types of reflex action. Reflex action are of two types: autonomic reflex action and somatic reflex action. This is the somatic reflex action. Somatic reflex action, pulling up hand from the hard object or from the cold object, from the sharp object. This is the somatic reflex action, which is controlled only by the spinal cord. The autonomic reflex action, autonomic reflex action. Autonomic reflex action, like swallowing of food, sneezing, coughing, blood pressure, heartbeat. These are the autonomic reflex action, which is controlled by the medulla oblongata and the phone. So these are the two main types of the reflex action. Okay.